A 40 minutes long daily race in Gran Turismo 7. I thought I would never see it happening, but it did happen. Is Polyphony Digital listening to us? Was it the best daily race ever? Are those longer daily races coming to stay, or it was just a one-time event? Could they get even better? I'll try to answer all of those questions with you guys right now, so fasten your seatbelts and start your engines, weapons free. Salute and welcome to the Fighter Driver channel. I'm Gabriel Oliveira, the Fighter Driver, and finally a sprint race in Gran Turismo 7. That's right, gentlemen, a sprint race by any standards, and I'll talk about that in a few moments. Right now, let's focus on the race start. As y'all can see, I'm starting from P8, not a very good qualified session. I've never been very good on this track, and also I feel I'm reaching a performance limit by driving with the joypad as I do, but that's subject for another video, okay? And now I'm facing higher level adversaries as my driver rating was upgraded to B, so it's gonna be a tough race. My goal here is finishing within top 5 and keeping the record of finishing all my races with this account in the top 5 and never failed it so far. My strategy here is going exactly 10 laps, a stop for tire changing, as my tire wear here will be awful, no refuel needed, not a problem. Come back on track for 10 more laps. If I can get lucky and collect some positions as people make mistakes, and if I don't make any stupid mistakes myself, maybe I can go up the grid and get to the top 5. I'll try my best here. Now let me make my point regarding it being a sprint race. For Gran Turismo standards, it's a long daily race, I believe the longest ever, at least the longest I've raced in Gran Turismo 7 and even in Gran Turismo Sport. I've seen some people even talking about it being an endurance race to Gran Turismo standards, but here comes the point, Gran Turismo standards. When we look to any motorsport category, be it Formula 1, Formula Indy, NASCAR, SRO, IMSA, WAC, etc. The races last much longer, and about 2 hours long being the minimum for Formula 1 and way more for the others. Only a few categories will have shorter races, but they are sprint races competitions in format. So saying a 40 minutes race is an endurance race is just nonsense. But for Gran Turismo standards, it was amazing, okay? It could have been the best daily race I've raced in Gran Turismo ever, but there's still room for improvement. And because of my performance here was not so good as well, okay? But for sure, when we think about format, there is still room for improvement. And before I say how I think it could be better, I know many drivers don't like those longer races so much for they don't have much time. But I will tell you, I don't have much time either. And if some people prefer shorter races, well, it can be sorted out as there are 3 daily races every week. 2 of them can be shorter and 1 longer, exactly as it happened in week 7 with this daily race C here at Suzuka. Now, could it be even better than it was? It surely could with the simple things. Open setup as it was in the previous race, the one in the Nürburgring Grand Prix, okay? By the way, we raced that one and there is a video about it here in the channel. If you haven't watched it yet, I'll leave the card for it on the on the screen top right corner and in this video's description as well. Talking about setup. Even if it's just partially open setup as it was in that race, that one in Nürburgring, being able to adjust the car setup makes a huge difference. I certainly missed it here in Suzuka, and to some degree it affected my performance negatively here and helped me in that race in Nürburgring, you know. The other thing that would make races almost perfect in Gran Turismo 7 is eliminating fuel and tire wear multipliers. Do you like thinking about strategy? Me too. So there are ways to make it happen with no fuel consumption or tire wear accelerated as it is, you know. I just hate this thing. Okay, and it's completely nonsense to me, you know, unrealistic. Why multiply, why accelerate the fuel consumption and tire wear? It just doesn't make sense to me, okay? And one way to solve this is making longer races. And if you have longer races, make at least one stop mandatory with two different compounds. So people will have to stop anyways. And if fuel is not a problem, people will have to worry about which tire they will use in the beginning of the race and why and which is the right time to stop for the changes. Then you may say, but in that case, people will just use the best tire all the race and stop for the change when there's just one lap left, exactly as we have seen people doing, yeah, lately. Okay, we've seen many races happening like that, and I have done that before, so I understand the argument. Okay, understand this point. Yeah, but there is a solution for it as well. In private lobbies, for example, some of you may have seen that before. You can calculate the minimum fuel at the race start, so why not use it for the daily races as well? It's simple, you calculate a stop window, okay, like in many real competitions, okay, in real life races, okay, you calculate a stop window. Yeah, 20 lap race, for example, you say, okay, the fuel the pit stop window will happen between lap 6 and lap 12. Okay, it cannot be before it cannot be after it, and then you set this window, okay, and you set the minimum fuel amount, so you can race at least until the end of the window, until the window closes. All right. So, people will think about doing their stops within this stop window, or they get dry, and when it comes to fuel. I've had some races in private leagues defending the Bombcat Simracing team following those rules, and I must say, those were truly the best races I've ever had in Gran Turismo. Okay, by just applying the simple rule, you have a window, a pit stop window. If you stop out of it, it's not going to count, or you're going to be penalized, something like that. It's not something so difficult to implement. All right, but it's just my opinion, okay. I am not the Mr. Know It here, okay. I know it's not so important, but my opinion, okay. Now I want to know yours. Do you think longer races like this are good? They're bad? Can they be better? Do you prefer open or closed setup? What I just said makes any sense, or it doesn't make any sense at all? Would you be part of a race in this format I've proposed? Let me know what you think. Okay, so leave your comment here down below, okay? And by the way, I'm thinking about bringing some races in this format. Okay, it is possible to be adjusted in private lobbies. Yeah, pretty possible to be done. Okay, and I've been thinking about bringing some races in this format, following a project I started with a friend last year. If you're interested, just join me up in our Discord server. Okay, if there are people enough interested in it, we'll bring it on. Now, I want to thank you for all the support you've been giving to our job here. We're always working to bring you some interesting and useful content, sharing our experience and evolution as a sim racing driver and air combat sim pilot. Our community is growing every day. Right now we're 70 subs here on YouTube and 81 on Instagram, and we can grow even stronger. But that's your mission to accomplish. You're the best team I have to do it. All you gotta do is hit the like button, share this video with your friends, leave us your comment about the topics and events in this video, and subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed yet. Fast and easy, you accomplish this mission and help us a lot by doing so. We really appreciate all your support. And oh yeah, before I forget, let me remind y'all about it. I've invited you to join our server on Discord because it is on air. We're implementing everything we want to have working for y'all there little by little, but the basics is already working and the community is already interacting and playing together there. So we're waiting y'all to join up there and in our profile on Instagram. Links in the video's description, or you can use the QR codes on screen right now. Well, folks, y'all can see how much I'm struggling in this race, right? I said before it's topic for another video, but I believe we can talk just a bit about it here. Don't get me wrong, I'm not looking for excuses, okay? There's a lack of skill related as well, but for sure the hardware has been a limiting factor for me, and I didn't come up with it lately. It's something I'm well aware, and even before I started this channel, as I told you before, I used to race for Gran Turismo 17, the Bobcat Simracing. Actually, I'm still part of it, it's just not being so active lately. Anyways, I've been driving Gran Turismo for a long time. I've started doing it when the first iteration of it was released in 1997. Yep, I am a dinosaur. And part of my problem comes from it because as I got used from that time, with the pushing buttons for controlling the car, besides other details not worth mentioning here, I just can't adapt to using the analog mini-sticks or the triggers L2 R2 for throttle and brakes. So despite being well aware of what I gotta do, I just can't do it using the right driving techniques for braking and acceleration especially. And that's because I still use the X and square buttons for it. Terrible, I know. I've tried. I just can't adapt to the analog controls, to the triggers. I feel that my driving issues are almost all about throttle and brakes. But I can't go any further with the joypad. I've been trying to adapt, but I really need a wheel. Okay, that's the truth. I really need a wheel. Actually, if I could keep using the joypad as the wheel but had paddles for throttle and brakes, it would make me happy already. It would make a huge difference for me. I believe most of my driving problems could be solved by having paddles. But of course, the ideal is a wheel. The thing is, right now I can't afford it, but by the moment I can get one, I'll make a series of videos within the Mission Gran Turismo showing if it's gonna be a game changer and how I'll make progress as I learn and adapt to using it. Or if I'm just a skill lacking driver, a noob, and it's gonna make no difference in the end, okay? But I do believe the hardware in this case, from a joypad to a proper wheel and paddles, I believe that makes all the difference, okay? And I really want to bring a lot of new stuff for y'all. That's the truth, okay? Either in sim racing and also in air combat sim. I haven't done it yet for I couldn't afford it. The money is short lately. But if the channel grows and we can monetize it, I will be able to do it, okay? So I count on you to help making this channel grow, yeah, and bring more people to this community so we can help one another, right? And if you like what we do here and think it would be worthy to help us with a donation for we can invest in better hardware for better content, I'll leave a Pix key if you were in Brazil, okay, and also a PayPal account so you can use it for making any donations you consider relevant, okay? Any value you consider worthy. Yes, both in the video's description, okay? I thank you a lot in advance for anyone who considers doing so. You'll never be forgotten, right? Now, guys, if you haven't watched the previous episodes of our Mission Gran Turismo, I would recommend you to watch the full playlist so you can follow our entire journey from the beginning after watching this race. And if Air Combat Sim is your thing, you can also watch the Mission War Thunder playlist. Cards here on the top right corner in the links in this video's description. So, back to the race. I've made my stop at the end of lap 10 as planned. I'm in P7 right now with a lot of drivers after me, all of them driving faster than me. I'll try to hold my ground as much as possible. I still intend to finish this race in the top 5 if possible, so I can keep the record of finishing all of the races I took part of in the top 5, but this one is proving to be the hardest challenge for me so far. The Mustang driver made a mistake and I assumed P6, but the pressure coming from the drivers behind is very strong, and one concern I have for this race is not letting my driving issues become a problem to the other drivers. I've been trying to avoid it and even opening space for them to overtake me when I realize that defending my position can cause an incident or so. I make a mistake and lose the position to the Porsche driver. But as we go around the Cassis chicane, they also make a mistake. I find no space to recover the position, they get the inside line. I see the BMW driver also joining the party and keep the outside line, keeping out of their fight. As we enter turn 1, the BMW driver overtakes the Porsche who overshoots and leaves some space inside. I try to take it, but unfortunately the Porsche tries to return at the last moment and I end up touching them, doing exactly what I've been trying to avoid. I'm so sorry for that, didn't have the intention to touch them at all. The BMW driver crosses in turn 2 and recovers the position as I got slow and overshot turn 2, bringing the GTR driver with them. So I end up losing 2 positions and now I have the Corvette driver behind me. So I start watching the end in the top 5 getting more and more distant. Possibly it's gonna be the first race I end out of the top 5, but hey, race is over only when it's over. I'll never give up, right? I end up losing another position to the Corvette driver as we go around turn 9, and now there's no immediate threat coming from behind. P10 is relatively distant from me, so I'll focus to be as fast as I can and as consistent as I can for the next laps, while I can drive without looking to the back mirrors. It brings us to lap 14 and the GTR driver who overshoots the hairpin and loses the car, so we'll recover a position here, back to P8. Lap 15, now it's the Corvette driver who overshoots the turn 1 and gets out of track, so we get to P7 and there's still 6 laps to go. Race is over only when it's over. Lap 16, the Porsche driver in P8 reaches out to me as we go around the spoon and now we'll bring some pressure back. My front tires are getting worn very fast as you can see in my telemetry, but I'll do my best to keep at least this position so we go up 1 position in the grid. Right now, I'd not be happy exactly, but considering how hard this race has been for me, I'd accept that. And hey, despite results so far isn't what I wanted, I'm really enjoying that 4 minutes race. I just hope Polyphony Digital brings us a long race like it every week. Come on, Polyphony Digital, will you do it? Yes? 2 laps to go. I managed to hold the Porsche driver and keep P7, but the Corvette driver reached out to us and overtook them. They've driven rocket fast on those last 2 laps and now they're coming after me. They weren't close enough for the overtake by the hairpin and I could breathe a little as going around the 200R turn. I can see P6, it's relatively far but in visual range. But right now my attention is all focused in defending my position from the Corvette driver who closes the gap as we go around the spoon. I keep some distance through the back stretch and as we go around 130R, but as we get to the Cassius triangle they brake late and close the gap to dogfight distance. But they almost overshoot and there is even contact, but no further consequences for me and I can breathe for now. As we go around turns 1 and 2 and around the S turns, they'll take all the gap away and get to dogfight distance again, so I'm in deep trouble here. Full focus and concentration to go around those turns the best I can, leaving no space and being as fast as I can to take action from them. We go around Dunlop turn, but I overshoot Dagner turn and they have their opportunity. I managed to keep side by side and turn 10 is theirs, but the hairpin is mine. They leave the space and we go around the hairpin still fighting for it. As we go around the 200R, they will squeeze me to the outside line, so I ease on the throttle to avoid something worse and the Porsche driver takes the shot, but then they overshoot the spoon first corner and I recover one position. So P8 did I start, in P8 I'll finish. What a race, ladies and gentlemen, what a race. Let's just hope PD keeps bringing them on. And that's it for today, guys. I hope you liked it, and if you did so, hit the like button, leave a comment, and share this video with your friends like Gran Turismo 7 and Simracing. Also consider subscribing to the channel with the notifications bell activated so you'll receive the notifications every time there is a new video here on the channel. Also join us on Discord and Instagram, and if you can and consider our effort worthy, you can make us a donation through PayPal in general or via Pix if you are here in Brazil. I appreciate you who followed me so far. Salute, and I see you on the next mission.